Yeah. Y'all watching the Grind Ethics mixtape show, and I'm your host, Viktory BX Supreme Promoter. Basically, nah, I mean, nah, I'm Shane. Basically, yeah. Yeah, thank y'all for watching the new episode of Grind Ethics. Anyone that liked this episode, I'll be very grateful if anyone could share, drop a comment, that good stuff. And if you definitely like this episode, y'all be very grateful if you could drop a donation. The link is down below. Grind Ethics Cash App. Grind Ethics Cash App. The link is down below. I'm still got in mind this the tour that I want to go on, the Live Your Life tour. For those who don't know, I'm organizing this tour called the Live Your Life tour, where I'm going to travel all over the country and interview interesting people and show the audience different landmarks of different cities and states in North America. Not the United States. The United States is a fucking corporation. It's not a country, y'all. I know. Y'all like Victory. You're too goddamn technical. Anyway, on this episode of Grind Ethics, I want to break down the movie Strictly Business. Yes, some of y'all 80s babies or 90s teenagers, y'all know about Strictly Business. Or some of y'all people that's in your 50s, and your 60s. Y'all know about the classic 90s movie Strictly Business, which is one of my favorite movies. And I love the soundtrack too, the music soundtrack. Basically, the movie Strictly Business is about a man, right? It's about a guy who works in a corporate setting, right? He works at a corporate office, a corporate company, whatever the fuck. And he's living a successful life. He's a black man that works in a corporate office. You know what I'm saying? Him being the only black man, or practically the only black man working at his job, it doesn't really bother him. He's not a quote unquote hood nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's a black man, but he's not from the hood. Actually, he was raised in, I guess, the suburbs. I guess he looked like his family. In the movie, it looks like he comes from like a Huxtable type of family. And he's living the so-called American dream, and he has a woman who's about to be his wife, right? And then he's caught between two types of women. The woman that he really wants, and the woman that people expect him to be with, because the woman herself, she's a successful corporate worker or whatever, and she wasn't raised in the hood or in the ghetto, just like him. So they both have something in common, but the guy doesn't really like him. I mean, doesn't really like her like that. He's just with her because it makes sense to be with her, according to society. But anyway, this guy that I'm talking about is played by Joseph. No, the character that I'm talking about is Wayman, right? Wayman is played by Joseph G. Phillips. Joseph G. Phillips. He was also in The Cosby Show, matter of fact. He was also in The Cosby Show. He played Denise's husband. Yeah. So Wayman in the movie is kind of like a tight ass black corporate worker, right? And he's in love with Halle Berry's character, Natalie, right? Natalie is played by Halle Berry. Y'all know who Halle Berry is. And Halle Berry, she's a dancer, right? Not that type of dancer, but she's like a hip hop type of dancer club. She's always dancing in this one particular club that she works for and promote for, right? She brings people into this particular club, right? That she works for, and she's always dancing, and she always, she's a vibrant type of person. Now, Wayman is in love with her because she represents kind of like a side that he never experienced before. That's why I think in the movie, that's why he was so in love with her, because she represents the side that's kind of wild, that's kind of spontaneous, that's kind of motivational. You know what I'm saying? But the woman that Wayman's with, she represents that tight shit. She represents society that's so tight, frigid, robotic. You know what I'm saying? That's what she represents. And in the movie, she's kind of like an asshole. She's, Wayman's soon to be wife, that's played by Annie Marie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wayman's soon to be wife, her name is Deidre, right? Who is played by Annie Marie. That's her real name. She represents the tight side, the frigid, robotic side of society. Oh, you gotta play. You gotta play it safe, son. You know what I'm saying? Life is a struggle, son. You know what I'm saying? That's what she represents. But she's successful. She's a corporate worker, college degree, and all that shit. But she represents the frigid side of society. You know, Wayman's character represents the person in life. And some of y'all might be like this. Some of y'all might represent the character of Wayman, right? You might be a tight ass. You might be a tight ass person that works at a tight ass job, working in a tight ass cubicle or whatever, right? But you kind of don't like your job. You want to do something spontaneous. You want to own your own business, or create a side hustle, or do something dedicated or based on a hobby that you have, right? You're like a Wayman, some of y'all, you know? And y'all in love with that. But y'all don't know if y'all want to step into that world of possibilities or whatever, right? But Wayman, going back to Wayman in the movie, Wayman, he represents that. He represents the person that's kind of caught between what society tell him that he should do, and caught between, and also the world of endless possibilities, the world of spontaneism, if that's such a word, of the world of doing whatever you want to do, accomplishing goals, regardless of what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what Natalie in the movie represents. That's what she represents. Deidre, she represents society that's too frigid, too stiff. You know what I mean? Y'all get the picture. You know what I mean? And Wayman in the movie, he's really in love with Natalie, which represents the spontaneous side, the side of endless possibilities, the side of being a goal orientated person. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. That's what she represents, the wild side. You know what I mean? That's why he's in love with her. You know, because if Natalie was a stiff person, just like his, if Natalie was a stiff person, just like Wayman's stiff ass girlfriend, he wouldn't even be in love with her, really. Because he wasn't in the movie, he wasn't even in the movie. If you really pay attention to the movie Strictly Business, Wayman wasn't just in love with Natalie just because she looked good. That was like a small percentage of the reason why, or that was like a small reason why he really liked her, right? Like I said, and like I said a couple of times already, Natalie represents that wild side that he never experienced, the side of endless possibilities. Okay. Now, going to Bobby Johnson, right? Bobby Johnson character. Bobby Johnson in the movie was a guy that worked at the same company as Wayman, but he works at the mailroom. He's like a low-level worker working at the mailroom, and he's a hood nigga from Harlem, from Uptown. You know what I'm saying? he's all hood out, but he wants to live a better financial life. So that's why he's working at the corporate office as a low-level person working at the mailroom or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So he represents that hood nigga that Bobby Johnson, by the way, is played by Tommy Davidson. Y'all know who Tommy Davidson is. Played by Tommy Davidson. But Bobby Johnson represents that person from the hood who wants to live a better financial life. He's not all about the hood, but he's still a hood nigga. So he knows who Wayman is. Him and Wayman are like opposites. You know what I'm saying? Him and Wayman are like opposites. They're like, you know what I'm saying? And throughout the movie, Bobby is telling Wayman, yo, my nigga, you need to loosen up. You need to be a little bit more flexible. Stop being such a tight ass. If you want to get with Natalie, you know what I'm saying? Because in the movie, Wayman wanted Bobby to introduce, because Bobby in the movie was like the bridge. You know what I'm saying? He was the bridge between Wayman and Natalie, right? Because Wayman wanted to get with Natalie. So Bobby, he knows Natalie. And Bobby, he's a part of that nightlife, that hip-hop, R&B nightlife, that club life, going out every weekend and dancing with the females and bagging females and all that shit. He represents that life, you know? So Wayman promised Bobby in the movie to give him a promotion or recommend a promotion, because Bobby wanted a promotion at the corporate office or at the corporate job, right? So Bobby was like, yo, no, not Bobby. Wayman told Bobby, yo, listen, if you introduce me to Natalie, right, I'm a recommend you for a promotion, right? So Bobby and Wayman connected. So Bobby was showing Wayman around in Harlem, and Bobby in the movie was surprised that Wayman never even been to Harlem. How you gonna be black and you never been to? Yeah. You remember the scene when Bobby and Wayman was driving through Harlem, and Bobby was getting that Wayman, and he was like, how you gonna be black and you never been to Harlem? And you from New York. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember that scene. So Wayman is basically Bobby's basically bringing Wayman, who's a tight ass, he bringing him to his world. You know what I'm saying? He bringing him to his world. And Bobby, too, is kind of like, he's in between two worlds. He's in between the corporate world, and he's in between the world of he's in between his own world. You know what I'm saying? The world of whatever. The hood life nigga world. Oh man. So basically the movie Strictly Business is telling the story of really three people. Wayman, Bobby Johnson and Natalie. Bobby Johnson is the bridge between Natalie and Wayman. So I know some of y'all like, yo, Victory, you got too much time in your hands talking about this shit, breaking down this shit. You overanalyzing this movie. Nah, but the movie is telling you, movies are a reflection of real life. So the movie is, because I've been seeing this movie thousands of, maybe 100 times, not thousands of times, maybe 100 times. But the movie is basically, it applies to real life, man. People who are people who are in conflict between the life they want to live and the life they don't want to live. The life they don't want to live, it seems sick, the mediocre, boring, average life, the systematic life, it seems like a boring life, but it's safe. But the life of being a goal-oriented person and being spontaneous and the life of endless opportunities and possibilities, you know what I'm saying? It seems like a risky life, you know? So that's what they represent. Natalie represents that risky life. She represents that wild, anything can happen type of life. While Deidre, the tight-ass bitch, who's about to marry Wayman, she represents that, keep it safe type of life. Don't rock the boat. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know people like Deidre. And y'all know people like Natalie. And y'all know people like Wayman. Y'all know people like Bobby Johnson. Y'all don't even know this. Y'all know people like this already. Almost everybody does. You see, a nigga like me, I represent Bobby Johnson. I feel like I'm Bobby Johnson in the movie because I am a hood nigga. And I am from Harlem and the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? And I am a goal-oriented person. I want to motivate. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to different places in life. You know what I'm saying? Or experience different things, experience different experiences, and not just stay in one place. I get bored going through the same routine. Like, that's why I gave up the 9 to 5 life. You know what I mean? At one point, I was Wayman. I was like Wayman. I was like, I hate the 9 to 5 life. Like when I was younger, I was like, I hate the 9 to 5 life, but it seems safer. It seems like, you know what I mean? This life is gonna kind of like maybe, make me make me enough money to live the type of life I really want to live. But fuck that. I'm not down with that. I'm gonna get a 9 to 5 job to raise up money for things I want to do. Fuck that shit. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sell merchandise and use that money to get into whatever endeavors I want to fucking get into. That's it. That's it. That's it. And there's other interesting characters in the movie, Strictly Business, but I don't want to, talk. I don't want to talk about that because I don't want this episode to be too long. But yeah, and it's funny. But in the movie, Wayman actually gets with Natalie. Everybody in the movie. I didn't tell you, Natalie. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Let me break down Natalie's character. Natalie, like I say, she represents that wild side, goal-oriented, spontaneous person, right? She's more feminine, right, compared to Deidre. Deidre, she's a masculine, tight-ass bitch, okay? And she's very less feminine, very less feminine. Y'all see in the movie when Deidre and Wayman was having sex and Deidre was too demanding of how she wants to get to be satisfied or whatever. She was giving too much drills. She was a drill sergeant in the fucking bedroom. How you gonna be a drill sergeant in the bedroom? You know what I'm saying? You're a woman. Man's supposed to be a drill sergeant. Like I mean, so so masculine. You know what I mean? Like It's like, why you want to be with this bitch? I'm looking at Wayman in the movie, like, why you want to be with this bitch? Or do you really want to be with this bitch because she's safe to be with? Or people expect you, or society, or your friends and your family expect you to be with a woman like her? You know? But she's too masculine in the movie. In the movie, but Natalie, on the other hand, Natalie on the flip side, she represents more of the feminine side, you know, the wild side. Like I said, she's kind of like, you know, in a way all over the place. But she has a head, but she's masculine, but she shows masculine energy too, because she knows what she wants. She's a woman that she knows what she wants. You know what I'm saying? She don't want to be a dancer slash promoter all her life. She wants to actually own a club. So in the movie, you see that she goes to her boss, right, who owns the club, and she asks the boss if she could have part ownership of the club. And the boss refuses. Like, no, this is my club, baby cakes. You know what I mean? So in that part of the movie, she represents the masculine side of herself, because people who are masculine, people who express masculine energy, whether they're man or woman, they express what they want in life. They express, you know, they demand, this is what I did for y'all this is what I did for you over the years, this, that, and the third. And I'm thinking that I deserve to have this. That represents the masculine side. Like when you demand something, or you ask something, or you ask people something based on the type of work that you did, because you know what you want out of life. You know what I mean? So you demand it. You know. And being goal orientated is kind of represents masculine side of people. You know. But in the movie, you know what I mean? So she was balanced. Deidre, she was just too masculine. She didn't show no type of, you know, no type of feminine side. You know what I mean? Like, Deidre in the movie, if she was a man, a nigga like me would punch her in the face. Cause she kind of have like that house nigga, Uncle Tom type of vibe. And I don't like house niggas. They rub me the wrong way. You know? A house nigga could catch a bullet, you know? I'm sorry. You know? I ain't no tough guy, but a house nigga or Uncle Tom could catch a bullet, you know? But yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, I never even look at the movie before like that, in that way. You know what I'm saying? But in the movie, and at the end of the movie, everybody got what they want. Wayman got Natalie. Natalie, she actually, you know, owned her own club with the help of Wayman, or Wayman, whatever. You know, she actually, you know, got what she wanted. She has her own. She owned her own club at the end of the movie. You know, and Wayman helped her, and Bobby got the promotion. So everybody got what they wanted in the movie. At the end of the day, but the main thing is, and the reason why everybody got what they wanted, is because they shot for it. They just didn't dream or daydream about it. They shot for it. They went out for it. You know what I'm saying? They was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? They actually made the attempt to get what they want to get. Everybody in the movie, Bobby, Wayman, and Natalie. If you notice in the movie, everybody got what they wanted, because they shot for it. They just didn't daydream about it. So that should be a lesson to some of y'all who want to live a particular type of life. You know what I'm saying? But you scared. You scared. You know what I'm saying? But the movie is telling you, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. And you will get it. That's what the movie's telling you. That's what the movie Strictly Business is telling you. Whatever you want, or whatever you're attracted to, Go for it. Just don't daydream about it. Go for it and you'll get it. You know? So y'all might want to see the movie again if you're sorry. If you've never seen the movie Strictly Business, see that movie. You know, it will probably, it will probably bless you with some life lessons. Anyway, I'm out, y'all. I want to ask y'all, what life lessons did you got, or or did you obtain from the movie Strictly Business? And what character in the movie kind of represents you, or do you represent a couple or a few characters? It doesn't have to be whatever characters I didn't mention in this episode. Maybe you relate to some of the characters in the movie that I didn't mention. What characters do you relate to in the movie Strictly Business? You know what I mean? Let me know. Anyone that liked this episode of the Grind Ethiks Mixtape Show, like I said, I'll be very grateful if anyone subscribe, share, and if you want to make that donation for the Live Your Life tour, let me know, because I'm still doing this Live Your Life. I'm still gathering up or organizing this Live Your Life tour. And the Live Your Life tour, it kind of represents the movie Strictly Business too. It kind of represents the topic that I'm talking about, which is going for your dreams, going for your goals, and not letting nothing stop you. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm out. And remember, peoples, tell a friend to tell a friend that is all about the motherfucking grind. Basically.